Now we're going to talk a little bit about post conditions, which I think are a really, really cool feature that Clarity has. So post conditions are a unique feature to Clarity that are kind of created in an effort to maintain security at the forefront of development and usage on stacks. So the primary goal behind post conditions is pretty much to limit the amount of damage that can be done to a user's asset due to a bug, whether intentional or not. If post conditions are not met, then a transaction will abort and the user will only be out the gas fees. They are written into the client-side application. So this is important to note. It's not something that is defined in a Clarity smart contract. They're purposely meant to be separate from the contract itself so that a user has some control over what happens when they initiate a transaction outside of the contract. So if you remember from our first session, basically what happens with the post condition flow is, say a user calls in to a contract for a transaction, the function logic will run, and then it'll hit the post conditions, and they will check to see if specific things have happened. And if they have, if it returns true, then the transaction completes and everything materializes to the chain, and you're able to move forward. If not, if something else has happened that wasn't supposed to happen, or if not exactly what was outlined in the post conditions happens, then the entire transaction will revert. So we have three types of post conditions. We have STX post conditions, NFT, and FT. So basically for the three main asset types. So here we have an example of the basic setup for a post condition for an STX transfer. So looking through this, up at the top, we import the necessary packages. Then we're setting up a condition that says that a user with a specified address will transfer an amount of STX that will be greater than or equal to the specified amount, right? You can also do less than or equal to. So as the user, if we were to initiate this transaction with the Hero wallet, we would be presented with a condition that stated, we'll be transferring at least X amount of stacks or the transaction will abort. And then a little bit further down after the comment that says with the contract principle, the second section is doing something similar, but in this case, it's being applied to the contract, right? So we're saying that the contract will be transferring at least the specified amount rather than the user. Now, in this example, you see that the post condition address and the contract address is hard-coded. There are ways to do that dynamically. So when we look at authentication with the Hero wallet, Hero's authentication features allows you to create a user session, right? So once they log in and you have all of their information for their wallet, so then you can dynamically grab those address rather than hard coding them. And we will, again, take a look at that in our full stack example. But this is kind of like the basic, very basic setup for an STX post condition. Here we have the basic setup for an NFT post condition. So this one is a little bit different. Rather than specifying the amount that the transfer should be compared to, we're setting the condition that after this transaction executes, the specified address should own the specified NFT, right? So this one is, like I said, for an NFT transfer. So you're just making sure that this NFT of a specific ID has changed ownership from one address to another. And then finally, we have the setup for fungible token transfers. So the main difference here is that in addition to supplying the conditions for the transfer itself, since this corresponds to a custom token, we're also specifying the token information by referencing the contract name and address that defines the token. So that's the main difference between like a FT transfer and an SCX transfer. These are, like I said, all like the basic setups for post conditions. And this code is, for the most part, it's going to be copy paste. So we can also link you to the hero documentation for post conditions. But the majority of the time, you can just copy this kind of boilerplate and then customize it as needed for your project.